Welcome to Beyond the Broadsheet, a podcast by the Lincoln County News. We are a community newspaper based in Midcoast, Maine, and we provide the most comprehensive, in-depth coverage available anywhere of the 18 towns and one plantation that make up Lincoln County. My name is Claire Taylor, and I'm a general assignment reporter here at LCN, covering the towns of Waldoboro, Jefferson, and Somerville.
And my name is Christina Wallace. I'm also a reporter here at LCN, covering the towns of Bristol, South Bristol, Bremen, and Noblesboro.
Welcome to the first Beyond the Broadsheet episode of the new year. Last episode, we said farewell to reporter Allie Jewell and reflected on her time here at LCN. After reading off this week's headlines, general assignment reporter Christina Wallace will chat with Trish Jonason, assistant director of the newly formed Shuck Town Pep Band. But first, here are some of the top stories from the Thursday, January 8th edition of the paper.
Westport Island Committee to consider deer population issues. Big issue here in Maine. Westport Island is seeking volunteers for a new committee charged with coming up with a plan to resolve issues with the island's rampant deer population. During their meeting on Monday, December 29th, Westport Island Select Board members agreed to form an ad hoc committee at the recommendation of Maine wildlife biologist Keel Kempner, who addressed the overpopulation of deer on the island during a December 15 visit. According to Select Board Chair Donna Curry, the new committee will be charged with preparing possible solutions to be considered at the annual town meeting in June. The board hopes to appoint volunteers to the committee at its next meeting, scheduled for 6 p.m. on Monday, January 12th. The Select Board is asking and encouraging citizens interested in becoming members of this committee to apply through the committee membership application posted on westportisland.gov.
Lincoln County updated their hazard mitigation plan. The Lincoln County Board of Commissioners unanimously voted to adopt an updated hazard mitigation plan at their meeting on Tuesday, January 6th. The plan is a way for municipalities and the county to work together to identify infrastructure, engineering, and education projects that will mitigate against natural disasters. Emily Huber, Director of Lincoln County Emergency Management Agency, and Emily Raby, Executive Director of the Lincoln County Regional Planning Commission, presented the 2026 plan to the board. The 2026 update included added focuses on flooding, severe storms, drought, and wildfires due to recent needs. The plan was made in collaboration with each town in the county, Huber said, through meetings with local EMA directors and workshops with members of the municipalities. Huber thanked everyone who played a part in getting the updated plan completed. Quote, "Everyone played a huge role in just getting the work done," end quote.
In some news out of Damariscotta, the Damariscotta Planning Board approved a conditional use permit for a new adult use cannabis store during its meeting on Monday, January 5th. Kender Farms, LLC, owned by Jacob Deku and Charles Crandall, is proposed for 434 Main Street next to Duncan. If approved, Kender Farms would be the town's fourth cannabis store, joining adult use cannabis store, Cannabis Cured, and medical use stores Above and Beyond Cannabis LLC and Greenport Cannabis Co. According to Damariscotta's adult use and medical marijuana licensing ordinances, a maximum of 2 adult use cannabis retail stores and 2 medical cannabis retail stores are allowed in town. The board found the application complete with the conditions that any outdoor storage associated with the adult use cannabis store must be kept neat and must be screened from view of the residential district lots with a fence, and that the owners will maintain a valid license with the state. According to the town planner, Michael Martone, the next step is for the Damariscotta Select Board to hold a public hearing and vote on Kender Farms' retail marijuana license application.
And other news at a county level, the county's risk pool rate lowered. The Lincoln County Board of Commissioners received news of a decreased risk pool rate for the coming year during their meeting on Tuesday, January 6th. Lincoln County Administrator Carrie Kipfer said that when the Maine County Commissioners Association announced the updated risk pool rates for each county in a special insurance meeting on December 22nd, Lincoln County received the good news that it will receive a 0.2 decrease in rate. For every other county within the Maine County Commissioners Association, rates have gone up, Kipfer said. Kipfer explained that other counties may be seeing increased rates due to new infrastructure and higher claim rates. Kipfer also credited the decrease to Lincoln County's efforts towards cybersecurity.
In some more Damariscotta news, a partnership between Mobius Incorporated and Stepping Stone Housing Incorporated is turning donated furniture into a fundraising tool while giving a group of men with developmental disabilities the chance to build and contribute directly to their community. Ed Porter of Bristol, who works part-time at Mobius, an organization that provides support services to people with developmental disabilities and their families, is refurbishing furniture from Stepping Stone Thrift with the help of a group of 5 clients he works with at Mobius. Porter said the idea for the collaboration grew from a conversation he had in the fall of 2025 with Karen Batchelor, who runs the thrift store through Stepping Stone Housing, an organization that provides housing for individuals and families who earn less than a living wage. Porter said he was impressed with Batchelor and her staff after seeing the furniture Batchelor was selling in the store. He thought he could use the help of the men he works with at Mobius to give the store a hand. The group takes worn furniture from the store, fixes it up, and brings it back so that the store can make more money from the items, Porter said. The group sands, repairs, and refinishes items like benches, dressers, and tables for structural stability as well as appearance. Batchelor said people have been pleased with the quality of the repairs and that the work Porter and his group have done has been able to increase sales for the thrift store. Porter said he has no plans to stop his work. He said it has been beneficial to the men in the group. Porter said, "They like the sense of camaraderie. They like the sense of contributing." Very sweet story.
Indeed. What a neat idea.
Yeah.
All right. And our character of the county this week is Aiden Fraser, who proves that anyone can go home again. Damariscotta native and ceramic artist Aiden Fraser moved back to her hometown in 2024 to take a position with Watershed Center for the Ceramic Arts in Newcastle. As Watershed's program and events coordinator, Fraser manages the scheduling and logistics of special events and artist residencies. To date, working at Watershed has exceeded Fraser's professional expectations, she said. Watershed's commitment to embracing the diversity of artists is in line with her personal values, and her coworkers together form a small, dedicated team. Prior to coming to Watershed, Fraser was a professional ceramic artist in Portland. Art in general, and ceramic art specifically, have been a lifelong interest. One of Fraser's first artistic memories is working with clay during a class at the now-defunct Round Top Center for the Arts when she was a grade school student at Great Salt Bay Community School in Damariscotta. Fraser said she will always come back to clay because, quote, "It's malleable. It's endless possibilities, which can be super overwhelming, but also if you've got a clear idea as to what you want, clay won't stop you from doing that," end quote. To learn more about Aiden Fraser, go to lcnme.com or pick up a copy of this week's paper.
And we will be right back with Trish Jonason from the Shuck Town Pep Band in Newcastle. All right, and I am here with Trish Jonason, who is the assistant director of the new Shuck Town Pep Band, which has come to Newcastle and has begun rehearsals. Trish, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. Can you start by telling me a little bit about what the Pep Band is?
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me. So the Pep Band is a group of musicians from the Newcastle, Damariscotta area who are getting together to make music. It's a group of amateur musicians made up of Lincoln Academy faculty, parents, students, members of the community, anybody that has an instrument sitting around that hasn't played in a while, has a joy of making music. That's what we're making this ensemble for. That's what we're playing music for.
That's incredible. So where did the inspiration for this come from?
I've been sitting in the stands at Lincoln Academy basketball games for a number of years now with my husband and several other friends. And this group of us all come from big high schools with big pep bands. And as a joke, we sort of lamented about the recorded music. And, do you remember when we used to play? And you remember that feeling of being in the stands and having a live band, and that feeling under your feet of a drum and the horns. And, we would laugh and say, wouldn't that be incredible if Lincoln Academy had a pep band? And then Lincoln Academy went through some changes, changed band directors. And when Stephen came on board, we approached him and said, so what, is this a joke, or is this something that you think that we could pull off? Is this something that you're interested in? And he was, and he took something that was sort of funny and a sort of a pipe dream for us, and put some legs under it, and thought, let's figure out how to make this happen, and let's bring this not just in the Lincoln Academy community, but let's bring this out into the actual community. That's why it's not a Lincoln Academy ensemble; it's a community ensemble.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, what does the name Shuck Town represent?
Shuck Town feels. We wanted something that was regional. We wanted something that referenced the river. We wanted something that was geographical, something that wasn't about the school. It wasn't about an eagle. It really needed to be about the twin towns. And we, as Lincoln Academy employees and as parents, we spend a lot of time at Shuck Station, and we love that restaurant, and we spend a lot of time in town, and we eat a lot of oysters. And it felt like the culture around oysters and the culture around the river felt like and the word shuck and the town, just, I don't know, it just had like this kind of a feel to it. And there was some chuckling about it, and it just was a unanimous, that has such a fun feel to it. And it actually was that was the one of all the names that got floated. That was the one that was actually unanimous right off the bat.
That's incredible. Yeah. It definitely sounds like a very peppy name.
Totally.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So who else was in the group of people that was helping you create this?
So my husband, who is a trombone player and always an enthusiastic band member, not much of a sports fan, interestingly, but really there for the music vibes. Jonathan Scott, who lives at Lincoln Academy as a dorm parent. So we have a boarding program at Lincoln Academy. So Jonathan and his wife, Chelsea, live at Lincoln Academy. Jonathan shares a love of music that I have, and also shares a love of athletics that I have. So he and I you can find us at all the sporting events. And we are also at all the music events. So equally. So Jonathan, Darius, and then there's Hillary Peterson, who is our associate director of admissions. She is also someone who's always been an enthusiastic musician. Brenda Sawyer, who is a Lincoln Academy English teacher. Both of her children are musicians. So Brenda's always been playing bari sax and tenor sax. There's just this, people come out of a woodwork of who is involved. So that was that was the core group of people that really started chatting about this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I always love music because it just really brings people together. And it's so cool to see maybe someone you didn't know play an instrument kind of come out and do something like this. So
Absolutely. That's
really exciting. What was the reaction once you started floating this idea around to people?
People were really enthusiastic. The choices for community music as an instrumentalist here are the Seacoast Symphony Orchestra, and then there's a community jazz band that has sort of gone through a few iterations. Otherwise, you have to do a decent amount of traveling, Hallowell, for example, to get to a community band. And so the idea of having something local and using the resources that we have at Lincoln was really an easy sell. Also, I think that there was our energy about it, and the way that we talk about making music, and the way that we talk about, the vision of being in the stands, and the songs that we imagine playing, and the way we talk about it it's kind of nerdy, it's exciting. We get really animated about trying to bring that energy back into this experience of, do you remember what it was like do you remember back, do you remember that feeling underneath your butt in the stands when, the whole thing is shaking? It's incredibly exciting. It's a really exciting way of making music.
Absolutely. So this is open to the community. It's not just exclusive to Lincoln Academy. So let's say that there's someone that really wants to join but doesn't have any experience. Are they still welcome to come in?
Absolutely. We will find a place for everybody. I think the basic expectation and the skill set that would be recommended and needed would be to be able to keep a beat. So the percussion section is an incredibly important part of a pep band, and there are many percussion instruments that people can play. We need bass drum players. We need cowbell players. It is the infinite possibilities. Also, if you happen to play an instrument in the middle school or high school band, even your freshman year of high school, those skills, it's pretty extraordinary how muscle memory works. And it's so good for your brain. And it's so good neurologically for those of us in a certain age to pick those instruments up and develop those parts of our brains again and develop those motor skills. And there's so much to benefit from the experience of being in a room with other people and making music. And it's the social part of it. It is the act of reading music. It is the act of learning a skill. It's the motor skills of doing it. There's so many layers of learning in the dark winter days in Maine. There's no better way to get through those sort of miserable cold nights than just sitting in a room and playing really joyful Queen covers, for example. It's just so fun.
So that leads to my next question. Can you tell me a little bit about the type of music that you're playing?
Yeah, pep band music is ideally, first of all, they're very short pieces. Mm-hmm. So pep band music is played during 30-second timeouts, for example, or at halftime, anytime where there's a break in the action of a game. So the pieces are generally tend to be very short, and they're also designed if you have a small section of time for you just to play maybe 12 bars at a time. They're very heavy on percussion, and they're very heavy on horns and melody. They're very repetitive, simple melodies, simple harmonies. So for example, Queen's We Will Rock You or AC/DC Back in Black. There's some more modern tunes that are thrown in there as well. The other important piece about repertoire is recognizability. You want the crowd to have an emotional reaction to that music. You want it to, the best thing is when they sing along, when they're stomping or clapping along. That's what you're there for. You're there to emphasize and support the energy that's already happening in that gym. So recognizability and the energy that you're bringing from music that they are having a reaction to is the most important part. So, and then the skill level that goes also to the skill level where when you're rehearsing and learning music that's not very long, let's say 24, 30 bars long, that's it's easier to rehearse. It's easier to sound good faster because you have less music to rehearse. Again, it's quite repetitive, so you can shift through your music quite quickly, and you also don't have to have such a broad repertoire. And in fact, when we started rehearsals this week, Stephen also emphasized the importance of being able to play the national anthem. So that's a goal of ours for this winter season, is to perform the national anthem at a game. That's an essential part of any pep band's repertoire. Right now, unless there's a live vocalist, we usually have a recording. There's a perfect opportunity for a live band to be playing the national anthem at that game. He has a really beautiful, lovely arrangement that's appropriate for beginner instruments. The other piece that I want to say is that for beginner instrumentalists or folks who are picking up an instrument after some time, Stephen and I both have the skills to rewrite music to meet the level of playing that's coming through the door. So my daughter, for example, is a 6th grade trumpet player. And if there's something in the music that's going to be a bit more challenging for her, I'm going to rewrite that music for her. It's more important that she plays than it is for her to be hung up on something that feels difficult. And we have those skills to rewrite to meet those needs.
That's awesome. So what are your goals for the pep band besides just playing at Lincoln Academy sports basketball games? Is there anything else you're looking for the group to do?
Yes, absolutely. So, we think about the Pumpkin Fest parade. We think about just the Parade of Lights just now in December. Anytime that there's the Memorial Day parade, I don't know that we are going to... There's some debate about whether we're the marching kind or whether we're going to be sitting on the back of a pickup truck or a flatbed truck. I'm not sure yet. But there are so many times when this community gets together and celebrates something. And there is clearly an opportunity for this ensemble to get together and be part of that celebration. And when we created this ensemble, there were several voices in the beginning that said we want more than just pep band music. Let's be open to practicing repertoire that goes beyond just 30-second sound bits. So there is that opportunity as well that we're looking into the fall and the spring and the summer into where can we be a bit more present in the community that's not just in a high school gym.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I know live music is so powerful for so many people. So this is such a great opportunity for people to experience in the community.
Yes.
So if people are interested in joining the pep band, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so the easiest way is to just send me an email. It's Trish Jonason at gmail.com. That'll get directly to me. You can also just show up at rehearsal at Lincoln Academy. So the band room is below Poe Theater, right on the Lincoln Academy campus. And rehearsals are Tuesdays at 3:30. We run about an hour and a half, 3:30 to 5. And you are welcome to just join us. And if you want to join us next week and listen and scope it out and see what's happening and what the vibe is, that's great. If you want to show up with an instrument, that's incredible. And we will have music for you and we'll welcome you with open arms.
That's awesome. And one last question for you, because I know some people might be a little bit hesitant to join because they don't know what to expect during a rehearsal. Can you kind of talk us through what a typical rehearsal would look like?
Absolutely. So Stephen Pivovowski is our director. And you come in, the seating, it's a typical band room. So you would find your place with your section, get your instrument out. If you don't already have your music, that's going to be part of my job as assistant conductor, but most importantly, manager. I'm the manager of humans and music and gear, making sure you have music and the right music. Stephen starts with a warm-up, so usually a B flat, concert scale, some simple warm-ups just to get sound and to sort of get a sense of the room. And then working his way through repertoire, like I said, the arrangement of the national anthem, and then whatever music is, we're working on. And I think at this point, he sent out, he handed out the national anthem and I think 2 other pieces, maybe 3. And those pieces you can take home with you and spend the week noodling on them and working on them and have a little bit more confidence when you come back. So it's an incredibly friendly group of people. It's a group of there are other band teachers in that room. There are Lincoln Academy students in that room. There are teachers. There are parents. There are people who have no association with Lincoln Academy in that space. So it's a really friendly and joyful group of people.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Trish. I appreciate your time here today. And I hope that people who are interested will reach out, even if it's just to watch, because I know picking up an instrument for me has definitely been one of the most beneficial things I could ever do in my life. And it brings you together with an amazing community. So I hope if you're interested, you will consider reaching out or even just coming to a rehearsal and seeing what it's like.
Great.
And we will see you all next week. Thank you for listening to Beyond the Broadsheet, a podcast by the Lincoln County News. This podcast is produced by Lucas McNally and Maya Zewert. Tyler Davis of Tyality Productions provides production support. Our theme music is by Stu Mahan and Lincoln County News Associate Editor / bassist Sherwood Olin. The Lincoln County News hits newsstands across the county every Wednesday afternoon, and you can also access our work online at lcnme.com. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion, please email us at info@lcnme.com. As always, we're grateful for the support of our readers and listeners in Lincoln County and beyond. It's been great catching up today, and we'll talk with you again soon.